Hey guys, welcome back. BC Care here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of April 13th, 2023. The current character challenge is Blackest Night Martian Manhunter. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Cyborg, Sinestro, and Lex Luthor, who are all available as low as bronze tier. So this is a pretty great sort of early challenge for people to get
entry
in on.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, good gateway.
Yeah.
Challenge character.
Martian Manhunter's passive is Shifter, which is John cycles through different offensive buffs, life drain, and then in brackets health siphon goes to his entire team, increased power generation, and increased defense. He's got 1,000 attack, 1,300 health. This challenge was last available on the 16th of June, 2022.
Okay, and I had some notes already.
Yeah.
That I was going to talk about. And I don't know why. Just looking at it now, listening to you read the passive, it just occurred to me a couple of really strange things. One, John. They say John Jones. They don't say Martian Manhunter. Mm-hmm. So they're doxing him, which is not really a big deal because he's, when you read the comics, you know what his secret identity is. But it's funny that it's just so intimate.
Yeah.
Right? Like when it's Batman, you don't say Bruce has whatever. Yeah. It's Batman.
I guess it makes sense because Martian Manhunter is big and you can't call him Martian or Manhunter. So if you're looking for a way of cutting down the sort of the character space that it takes up.
But it doesn't take that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny. Like, and the second thing occurs to me is that they call it offensive buffs.
Yeah.
2 of them are defense.
That's true.
One is literal defense. Yeah. And the other is health.
They're just 3 different buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, good upper middle class stats. The opposite. So last week, it's the same number, same total, 2,300, but it's the opposite of last week's Arkham Knight Catwoman, where the attack and health are reversed, which is the way we don't like it.
Yeah.
Point of the passive is that it always starts in defense, where he only takes half damage, and that's the blue sort of aura that he's got. The first time it comes is only 3 seconds, and after that it's 14 seconds. Power drain is yellow, which lasts 14 seconds. Yeah. Or power generation, sorry, not power drain, power generation. And life drain, I was in my mind, I'm sort of shipping mixing all those ideas, mixing them up. Life drain is the shortest, and it's only 6 seconds every time. So this is long ago patched, but there used to be a fun glitch where with this very specific conditions, and the reason I mentioned it, even though it's long gone, you can't do it anymore, it's really fun to watch. So if you put the full extra gear set to get the second damage over time ability, and Blackest Night Martian Manhunter is on the life drain part of his cycle. And when the enemy is down to 1 health, he's got no health to give because damage over time can't kill. Then he would give ridiculous amounts of health to himself and his teammates. You could get health back in like the millions from just messing around like this and having an opponent that was down to nothing and just you couldn't bleed him out anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's linked in the description. And if we're talking pre-made teams, and by pre-made, I mean teams from the same universe, so the developers are sort of telling you that they belong together. This Blackest Night pre-made team is sort of one of the good ones. Mm-hmm. The Blackest Night team is strong, but unfortunately, I don't think Martian Manhunter is one of the strong ones. Mm. So there's 6 Blackest Night guys, right?
Yeah.
His passive has nothing to do with his teammates. It's all for himself. He pretty much stands alone. The big cheese stands alone. Because of that and because of his health weighted stats, he's not my favorite.
Yeah.
Now, you're watching footage demonstrating him trying to make him the main damage dealer. Mm-hmm. And good is that his special 2 can knock out more than on just the last hit.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to sort of undersell that or underestimate the value of it. Even better on a special 2 is there are pauses, including one between the 3rd and the 4th. So there's 4 total hits. The 4th hit is the last one, which means if you knock out someone with this 3rd hit, I think you can do some damage with the 4th, which is great. What's bad is that his 3rd hit is not ranged. So, when you use the Master's Death Cart loadout with Tentu Totem, so you get 2 bars of power, right?
Yeah.
And the Master's Death Cart shoves people back a little bit. So this is a little bit weird because usually if you're going to have that problem,
you miss at the start.
Right.
Or with the whole thing.
Right. So his first 2 hits will land because they're ranged. But if you're too far away because the Master's Death Cart shoved him away to get the power, or shoved the opponent away, the 3rd hit will whiff. And then the 4th hit will land. Mm-hmm. Weird. And so it is a problem because the third hit does a significant amount of the stated damage for special 2. And if it didn't, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
But I feel like it does more than a quarter. It does closer to the third or maybe even half of what the damage is. So that's a big problem. And so if you're using Master's Death card to build up power for a special when you tag in, you can't just drop a special 2 immediately, and you'll need to wait. And in the footage you're watching, it's doing a combo.
Mm-hmm.
And so the problem really is that he's not top 3 Blackest Knight. Number 1 in my mind is Flash. Healing and power generation with anytime you get damage over time for himself and his teammates, that's hard to pass up. With the times where the opponent gets stuck and you have an opportunity, they whiff, but you have an opportunity, an opening to do an attack.
Yeah.
Unblocked. Too good. Hawkgirl, reviving teammates, increases every other member of her team's effectiveness. It doesn't double it, but it's pretty darn close when she can revive everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1 and 2. And Batman's unblockable chance is much better than Manhunter's cycling passive. Yeah. So Manhunter, he's basically second tier Blackest Knight, along with Superman and Doomsday. So he's okay, and you can see him in the fights that he's not bad. And we'll talk about
if he's what
more.
you have, it's
right,
good.
Right. But we'll talk about him more in next week's Q&A when we've got more footage of him about just what the factors are make him not really where he's missing out on his potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the 151st week of a repeating pattern starting in May of 2020. We've had 3 complete runs of a 43-week challenge cycle. We are 22 weeks in the 4th cycle. And next week should be Arkham Origins Joker. That 43-week cycle is missing 23 challenge characters, unfortunately.
Right.
This week's multiplayer reward is the Black Power Battery, which becomes Nekron's Scythe. It gives you a 40% power steal on basic attacks if HP is lower than 15%. You get 200% increased damage against frozen or stunned opponents. You get a 40% life drain on basic attacks if your HP is lower than 15%. And its last evolved ability, which is KO an enemy to gain Resurrect with 65% health on death once per match.
Right. So last available September 8th, 2022, 119 weeks in a row of the pattern, 3 complete cycles of a 31 reward sequence, and it's the 26 weeks. So we're almost done the 4th cycle. And unlike the challenge cycle, nothing is missing for multiplayer rewards.
Yeah.
If the pattern holds, next week is going to be Claw of Horus. And after that, Tantu Totem. The single most important gear.
Yeah, so stay tuned 2 weeks from now to play multiplayer and win that if you don't have it already.
Right. So Necron Scythe is a true legendary gear. It's only one of 2 gears that will boost damage against stunned opponents. And if it did nothing else, if it had no other abilities, it would be worth a gear slot.
Yeah.
So I don't want to... I'm not overstating its value. The boosted damage against frozen opponents makes it even better in one axis compared to Cloak of Destiny, which is the other gear that boosts damage against stunned opponents. And that's balanced out a little bit against the fact that the Cloak has the advantage of boosted critical damage, which Necron Scythe does not. Mm-hmm. Necron Scythe has the 1 revive for knocking out an opponent, which makes it amazing. 4th World Gear set, by point of comparison, you need to use up 2 slots to get this revive ability. Another interesting fact. It used to be that the grouping, the gear sets ability of the 4th World Gears was Revive was on 3 pieces and Heal was on 2 pieces.
Which made more sense because Revive seems like it's more premium than Heal.
It feels like it, but they flipped it because the healing was actually more premium. Like you'd have a team that would just heal like crazy. Mm-hmm. And you could almost not even knock them out because the damage you were doing, your damage output, could not make up for the healing. Yeah. Which is wild. All right, so the power drain and lifesteal, they sound great. It doesn't come into play often enough because of how rarely and how short a period of time that you spend with your health that low without getting knocked out, or without the gear effect bringing your health up out of the range so it no longer has that effect.
It's true. It would be better if it was triggered for a certain amount of time when it got that low, because then you might have a chance to get like a lot of your health back and it wouldn't matter. Right. If it was like 20 seconds or something, that would be, a lot more useful.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess if you can keep your health low and power steal, What stops you from really sort of going wild with it is that any opponent that has 2 pieces of LexCorp gear will reverse power steal.
Yeah.
And you see that even more when people use 2 pieces of LexCorp gear as a counter against Batman Ninja Catwoman's passive that allows power drain for a much longer period of time.
Yeah.
In my mind, the best way to take advantage of the 2 low health abilities is probably New 52 Shazam. I haven't seen anything to tell me otherwise. Mm-hmm. You need to max out his passive so that it lasts as long as possible, which means you have to be at least Elite 3 and you need to spend lots of Valorium Alloy. So that way, when his passive triggers, to give him 21 seconds of knockout immunity, and his health is low enough to trigger the ability of his Necron Scythe, you get 21 seconds of life drain and power steal. Mm-hmm. And you're healing your whole team, and you're keeping the opponent from generating power, and you're not getting knocked out.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's still good enough for that one ability on Blackest Night Flash in the current team, using up 1 gear slot to take advantage of Blackest Night Flash's passive of reviving with full health instead of the usual 65%, plus a small amount of offensive potential seems worth the full gear slot.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to the store, we have the Arkham Origin Joker bundle for $24.99 Canadian. All these prices are going to be in Canadian dollars. So that is a corroborating clue. That's our sort of second piece of evidence that next week is going to be Arkham Origins Joker. And it does come with 100,000 power credits. So, you know, this is never a good deal. You always have the opportunity to earn things right the week after. Right. So it never makes sense to buy it unless you really think you're not going to be able to earn it.
But there are worse deals when they're priced like this, but they don't come with the credits.
Yeah. So it's not as bad as the deal gets. It's just all the versions of this deal are too expensive for my taste, at least.
Right.
Yeah. We also have the character bundle Flash TV for $24.99. I was going to say 25 and I'm like, I don't know why I'm rounding here. And that comes with a Reverse Flash and a Metahuman the Flash and 2 of the same gear, Hyperspeed plated suit. You know, sometimes with bundles like this, normally it's, you know, their specific gear, and sometimes they have options for what gear they have. Right. But with the Flash, there's no options.
Right. There's
so
only the
2
one.
Of the same.
There's only one signature gear.
Yeah. We also have the Arkham Asylum Pack 1. In its second week.
Right.
And then I think that's the only thing that hasn't been around for like more than a year at this point.
Yeah. Skimming past all that. A Phantom Zone is still finished, and Fight 62 is still broken. There still is no bug fix for the Google Play incompatibility, which is why that message still keeps popping up if you're on Android.
Yeah.
Last weekend's breakthrough for Golds was, as we expected, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Lobo. So this coming weekend is probably Lex Luthor, Batman, and Doomsday. Link in the description to a thread in the Injustice Mobile subreddit from Devlin16, one of the mods there, that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so as far as current glitches go, this is where we usually talk about it. And we do go into more detail every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week.
Yeah.
And even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review once a month, the first week of every month. And most recently, that was our recap from April the 1st. It was not April Fool's. Well, it was April Fool's, but it was not an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
We did actually do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to, though, you can also see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, Current Glitches, linked in the description of this video. The one thing worth mentioning, because of the Google Play glitch, that the challenge reset glitch is not working on this week's challenge. And the interesting thing I should point out that maybe nobody else cares except for us is that it used to be that I could just search for the glitch when I was adding it to one of the cards in the video by just typing current glitches.
Yeah.
And now that I've removed the challenge reset because it's not a working glitch, I can't pick it up anymore. And it's probably because there aren't enough views on the rest of the videos.
That's silly.
So other playlists are prioritized when I'm looking for ours.
That's funny.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's all the content for this week. I'd like to finish up by giving a huge thank you to all of our lovely supporters on Patreon. That is Korey Ashcraft supporting us on the Last Word level, Alexis M supporting us on the Your Message Here tier, Michael Devries, Irvin Ruiz, Hoshi127, and Drew Chapman, who are supporting us on the credited level, and all the other names that are scrolling past or have just scrolled past, who have supported us at some point during the pandemic. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.